and say, you know, that Jeremiah was right. And then I learned to do something. I learned it from a radio host. He calls it the news read real slow. So there's some passages and some things I'm going to read real slow because they're better digested that way. And so I'm going to pause there. But I want this intent to look at how we live so that we begin to see ourselves a little differently. And sometimes it's just a little tweaking of something you already know. And so I'm not going to cover, I don't think I'm going to cover any new ground, because I'm not going to get way out there where I can't get back. So I'm going to kind of stay on the shore and cast my line a little bit, where it's a little safe for everybody.
All right.
Okay, and so here we have Daniel 5. And as I was going through this and preparing for this lesson, I realized that we live in a culture of people who like to party. It seems that wherever I go, people just want to wave their hands up in the air. They just don't care. That's what they want to do. And it seems like it's affected the religious folk a lot. Now, they want to party over here and party over there and party over everywhere. And they call it getting their praise on.
All right.
And so they wave their hands in the air and they shake. And someone sent me a video of a guy singing tunes that I used to listen to way down. The blue light was on, the red light, whatever light it was. I can't even remember no more. And so here it is. Everybody seems to want to let the good times roll. And if the good times aren't rolling, people are rolling to where the good times are. And it seems that that's the culture we live in. And you know the saying, let's eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow we die. See, you're familiar with that. And then this was one of my favorite ones. It ain't going to hurt nobody.
Get on down.
To get on down. And it ain't gonna hurt nobody. And if you don't bother me, then I won't bother you. And so it seems that no matter what we're going through or what's going on in society, people want to avoid the pain and suffering at all costs. We live in a world where people are pursuing pleasures. Epicurus would be proud. We live in an Epicurean society. Epicurus was a Greek philosopher who extolled the benefits and the virtue of getting rid of pain at all costs and living toward pleasure and seeking pleasure as the highest good. We would be proud of Western civilization, who cling to the abject philosophy of eat, drink, and be merry. And if you can't be merry, eat and drink some more until you are merry. Live for today. For tomorrow we die and are no more. That seems to be the philosophy. But as I read Daniel 5, it began to give me a picture of some things that happen with those who buy into that philosophy of living, drinking, and being merry. Because living and drinking and being merry can get you into a whole lot of trouble. And so here, Daniel in Daniel 5 begins to paint this picture of Belshazzar, the co-regent with his pop, with his dad, Nabonidus. Nabonidus is away somewhere and left his son in charge, so Belshazzar is in charge here, and he has thrown a party. It's lavish. You read that in the first two verses. And so here they are, they're drinking, and Belshazzar with his entourage is talking trash. And so, because of his position, he decides he's going to do one thing better. He's going to call and ask for the sacred things of God that his daddy, Nebuchadnezzar, had brought in from Jerusalem out of the temple. And so that's what he does. Nebuchadnezzar has taken these treasures, these holy vessels from the temple, and brought them to Babylon. And here Belshazzar knows that. And he says, go get those things and bring them over here. See, that's what a little drinking will do to you. Get you drinking and thinking out of your head. And so there he goes, he does that, and he calls for these vessels which were used as a sacred symbol of God's dwelling and God's And there is that disembodied hand. Oh, if I'd seen something like that. Oh, yeah. Hand comes out of nowhere. Wrapped around a big pen, I suppose. And begins to scrawl on the wall. And write. And it says that Belshazzar became so frightened that it says his knees began to knock together. His hips went out of place. His back became like jelly. The king now with his entourage and all his people, look, that's a different kind of story going on. I think that would too. And so here Belshazzar has his hand writing on the wall, and he gets kind of faint, and now he's screaming. Can't you hear him? Somebody help! All throughout the castle, I would imagine the scream is going out. Come on now. Cause such commotion that the queen mother had to come and see what was going on. So she comes in and says, what's going on up in here? I forget sometimes. And she wants to settle things down. And so here it is, Belshazzar. Faint, got no color, pale as a ghost, some interpretations say, some translations will say. And so you know Belshazzar was in a bad way. And the queen mother comes in and tells him about a man named Daniel. I want you to hold on to that sign because I'm coming back to it. And now you know this man called Daniel. Daniel was a captive, but when Nebuchadnezzar came in and took Jerusalem, Daniel was one of the captives. Daniel was a man loved by God. Daniel 9 tells us so. Daniel was a praying man. He was a religious man. He was a righteous man. But yet and still, he went into captivity. There's a lesson there, but I ain't got time to go through that lesson. I got something to say. Righteous people suffer. Epicurus got it wrong. Righteousness does not mean you're not going to suffer. Righteousness doesn't mean you're not going to have to pay for somebody else's sin.
All right.
Daniel, the interpreter of dreams. Daniel, the wise man to Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel, the keeper of the safe, the lover of God. In every wretched kingdom, there ought to be somebody like a Daniel. Somebody that the wicked can come to and call on and say, there's a man in town who loves God. Go get that man with the wisdom of God to tell you what you need to know. There ought to be a Daniel somewhere in the city. So here they call forward Daniel, the revealer of the secret things of God. And Daniel shows up. I like Daniel. I don't know if he had a three-piece on or not. He walked in because he wasn't bothered by nothing. Walked in there. Well, obviously he saw the handwriting. But he didn't scream. He didn't shout. That old Belshazzar went to him and said, I heard about it. He just found out about that. I heard about it. That you have the spirit of the gods in you, this Belshazzar said. Yes, sir. And Daniel, you have the ability to unriddle the fantastic. You have the ability to unlock the unknockable. All right. Daniel's a bad man. But he's bad in that he puts his trust in God. He always knew who did what for him. Yes. Daniel didn't take the credit. He says, there is a God in heaven. Remember when he was talking to Nebuchadnezzar? Who couldn't figure out what the dream meant? In Nebuchadnezzar chapter 2, he says, all you wise men, I want you to tell me what I dreamed. And then tell me the interpretation of the dream. And everybody said, nobody can do that. But then there was a man named Daniel who said that God knows the secret things of men. He will reveal this to you. And so here we have this Daniel who's in the room watching and looking at the handwriting on the wall. What did the handwriting say? Come on, come back.